Hey, so I came across this one. I thought everyone would find this a little bit more funny. This is dance lessons for mathematicians. So if you think of the curves, if you were to graph them, these are what they look like. And so I thought this was hilarious. And, we've worked with the sine, the cosine, the tangent, and cotangent, the absolute value of x squared. And now, today, we're going to see what it's like to work with this x squared plus y squared. So, um, do your dance moves. Pick your favorite one. I think my favorite is probably going to be the absolute value of x because it makes a v, but heck, you can't beat the sine to cosine. It makes your arms look like you're doing the wave. So today we've got implicit differentiation. So distinguish between functions written in implicit form and explicit form. Use implicit differentiation to find the derivative of a function. So if we were to go ahead and find the derivatives of these functions, so the first one, we're able to just go ahead and just do the power rule. So this ends up as, this is y prime, this ends up being 6x to the first power minus 4, and then the derivative of a constant is always 0. And the second one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the product rule and the chain rule. So I'm going to go ahead and just write it out. I like to just make these like g of x, h of x, and so for my g of x, I just write sine of x, and then I do g prime of x is equal to the cosine of x. I do the same thing for h of x. This is the secant of, I'm just going to call, these are alphas, I'm sorry. So it's got to be all alphas here. I'm going to write this as the secant of alpha, this quantity squared, because I can rewrite that. So then when I take the derivative of h prime of x, you have to remember to bring the 2 out in front. It's still times the secant of alpha. And then I have to multiply the derivative of the middle. Well, the derivative of the secant, if we remember, is the secant tangent. So it's all multiplied by that at the end, because that's the derivative of the baby, or the inside, the inner function. So when I do the product rule, I do the first times the derivative of the second, plus the second times the derivative of the first. And so when I do that, this is f prime of alpha. When I do that, all I'm doing is just taking the pieces that I wrote out and just writing them down. So this is the sine of alpha times h prime of x, which is 2, times the secant of alpha, times the secant of alpha, times the tangent of alpha. And then I add this to h of x, which is just my regular old secant squared of alpha. And I multiply this by the derivative of g of x, and that is just the cosine of alpha. And that's the derivative right here. I would go ahead, I would leave it like this. You might have to simplify it for multiple choice, but if it's free response, definitely leave it like this. So hopefully you're noticing that there's something different about this one. And normally up to this point, we've only had y's on one side and x's on the other. But this one is not a function. This is actually a circle. And the reason why it's not a function is because if I were to graph any circle, say it's like this, because I know that this is going to end up being a radius of 5. If I were to graph this here, the reason why this isn't a function is if I were to draw a vertical line, it does not pass the vertical line test. So this is still an equation, and that's really the main difference here. So up until now, we've only found the derivatives of functions. So now we're doing equations, and that's really the big thing here, and we're going to have to use a different method. So sometimes equations are not given in the form where the dependent variable is isolated on one side of the equation, and sometimes it might be impossible to do that. And so what that means is like it's going to be very hard to get y equals to something, and oftentimes, that causes a big problem. But now we're going to learn something called implicit differentiation, where we can find the derivative of functions, or actually of equations like this, because they're not functions. So implicit differentiation, to understand the process of implicit differentiation, to find the derivative, we have to realize that we're always taking the derivative with respect to x. So we're using the chain rule over and over again for every single implicit differentiation that we do. So when we look at this example, when we take the derivative with respect to x of the tangent of u, we know that the derivative of the tangent of u is going to be the secant squared of u, but then we have to multiply by du dx, so the derivative of u with respect to x. And so every single time we're taking the derivative, we have to remember this piece. The more common way that you're going to see it written is we do the secant squared of u times u prime. And that is going to be our derivative of that original function. And so you'll see more examples of that on the next slides. So first, let's go over some guidelines for implicit differentiation. So when we differentiate both sides of the equation with respect to x, so basically we're just going to start taking the derivative. The step number 2, we're going to collect all terms involving dy dx on the left side of the equation, and then put all the other terms to the right side of the equation. So you'll see what that looks like in just a second. So then we're going to factor out our derivative, our dy dx, on the left side of the equation. And then we solve for dy dx. And so this is like 4 steps that you want to think of as we go forward. So this is that original problem that you were given at the beginning, and we want to just start taking the derivative. So this is what it's going to look like. Well, when I take the derivative of this right here, I'm going to get 2x, because it's with respect to x, plus 2y. And now this is the piece where the implicit piece comes in, where the chain rule has to be used, because now we've got y prime. So it's 2y, and then we think of the derivative of y with respect to x, well, that's y prime. And so then that's going to be equal to, well, derivative of 25 is just 0. So that was step number 1, is just start taking the derivative. And so basically the way I think about it is every time I see a y, or like a y variable in it, I'm going to have a y prime. So I'm going to take the derivative of that y piece, and then I'm going to multiply it by a y prime. So from here, we now need to get all of the other pieces to the other side. So I need to minus 2x, so this is step 2, from both sides, where I've got 2y, y prime equals negative 2x. And then step number 3, these are all my y prime pieces. I need to get the y prime alone, so I'm going to divide by 2y. So at this point, I've got y prime, which is technically like step number 4 now. I've got y prime is equal to my negative 2x over 2y. Okay? So y prime equals negative 2x over 2y. And so what this means is that now it is dependent on both x and y. So when they ask us to find the derivative at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug this in. So when I have this, I get y prime is equal to negative 2, and then I plug in a negative 3 over 2 times the 4. So my y prime is going to be equal to 6 over 8, which we can reduce to 3 over 4. And so what that means is that at that point, along that circle, our derivative, or our slope, is going to be 3 over 4.